Welcome to Timothy Matt's unit plan presentation. This is going to be a current events unit that is going to be held in a 4th grade classroom. The unit will be over 6 days. It's going to use the inquiry-based learning method as well as Gagne's 9 steps of content delivery. A few of the learning objectives that the students are supposed to get are that students will be able to summarize an informational text, and students will also be able to compare and contrast more than one informational text. The 2 learning objectives go along with the Common Core standards. This is the first year that the School of Goodings Grove has implemented the ELA standards completely. So the 2 standards that the 2 learning objectives will touch on is determine the main idea of a text and explain how it's supported by key details and summarizing the text. And the other standard will be describe the overall structure of events, ideas, concepts, or information in a text or part of a text. Pairing the learning objectives with these Common Core standards is going to be a key component in making this a successful unit. Like mentioned earlier, this unit is going to use the inquiry-based learning process. There's 4 main phases to the process. The first one is pose real questions. Students are going to be exploring current events, and throughout looking at the different articles, they're going to come up with their own questions. The second phase is to find resources. After they find their current event, they're going to go out and search for other resources that match their current event. It can either be on the internet or as well as traditional text-based articles. The third step is interpret information. Once they found other articles, they're going to do some summarizing along with some comparing and contrasting, and they're going to be making some inferences on how their current event can impact the world or region or country that the current event is taking place in. The last step is report findings. The students can do this in a variety of different ways. They could do it on the computer, or they could do it more traditional methods such as like posters or any other format. The whole point of inquiry-based is to kind of let them explore their own options and present with any method they want to. To make the unit more structured, Gagne's 9 events of instruction is going to be used. Now here's just a brief overview of his 9 events. Throughout the days, I'll refer back to Gagne's events and how they fit within the units. The class that is going to be partaking in this unit is a class of 24 students, 13 male students and 11 female students, predominantly white with a few Arabic and Hispanic students within there. The classroom does have 4 students who are considered reading resources. Because of this, there is a paraprofessional that is going to be in the room that can help these students or any other students that need assistance. The majority of the unit is going to be based off of 2 different forms of technology. One, the Chromebooks that the students use. They'll be using that to access the website newsela.com, as well as do some other research within the internet. They're also going to use a Google extension called Too Long Don't Read that's going to help them summarize long articles that they're going to use. Outside of the Chromebooks, they're also going to be able to go to the Media Center, where the 2 Media Center specialists are preparing articles and newspapers that are kids-friendly that they'll be able to use, the students will be able to use throughout their projects. Day 1 of the unit is going to start with an introduction to the unit. This is also Gagne's first step of instruction. How the teacher is going to gain the students' attention is to show them news headlines around the world as well as pictures that go along with the news headline. Hopefully it'll intrigue the interest of the students. From there, the teacher will go over the learning objectives. At Goodings Grove, it is required that all students know the learning objectives 2 ways. The first way, the teacher will present them written on the board. The second way is to verbally discuss them. From there, the students will discuss what they already know about the current events, like ask them if they know of anything big going on in the world. Going over the objectives and recalling prior learning is Gagne's 2nd and 3rd step. From there, we're going to move on to Gagne's 4th step, which is present the content. And from here, the students are going to know that they're going to be researching current events. The teacher is going to show them the newsela.com, which is a website that has kid-friendly articles that are based on current events that are going around the world right now. Once you click on a current event, the students can actually pick their Lexile level, and the article changes to meet their reading level. So if they're an advanced student, they can click on a higher Lexile, and there'll be a little bit more to the content of the article, or if they're lower, they can click on a lower one, and it makes it much more easier for them to read. The goal for the students on day one is to just kind of browse the articles, research a bunch of different ones, and find something that really interests them. That first step of inquiry-based learning is to pose real questions, and hopefully within day one and looking through all the articles, everyone will find something that really intrigues them and something that they want to question, they want to research on their own. Hopefully by day two, the students have found an article that interests them and a topic that interests them. From there, they're going to be doing some research on their own, moving to the second phase of inquiry-based learning. One of the extensions I mentioned earlier is Too Long Don't Read. A lot of these articles that are out there are written more for adults, whereas using this extension will kind of summarize it. Within the summary, or within the extension, you can pick either if you want a short, long, or medium summary. So again, it kind of fits to the student's reading level. Not only can they search within their Chromebooks, but they can also go to the library where the Media Center specialists have found articles and newspapers already ready for them, and there's two media specialists that are ready to guide them and kind of help them find information that fits their current events. As they kind of wrap up their different resources they find, they can start to summarize and compare and contrast their articles. While they're doing this, the teacher kind of acts as a facilitator, again, not telling them what they need to do, but more giving them guidance. It's that whole learning guidance step that is part of Gagne's instruction, which is step 5. And it's also providing feedback and evaluating their performance as they go through, and kind of giving them that guidance, telling them what they need to keep going towards without really telling them. It's more just that guidance, and as well as giving them feedback saying, hey, this is a good article, you should use it, or hey, this really doesn't fit your topic, maybe let's go find something else. Alright, but again, it's not about telling them exactly what they need to do, it's just facilitating and providing them that feedback that's going to get them to their next level. And hopefully on day 4 and 5, the students have kind of found their articles, they've summarized them, they've done some comparing and contrasting, so they can get going on their final project. The final project is going to be very open-ended with what they can do to create it. The students are going to receive the rubric beforehand so they know what they need to include, but how they present it is completely up to them. They can use Google Slides, they can make a poster, they can make a model, a 3D model, an online model, they can make a video, a PowerPoint, whatever they feel comfortable making. The method of delivery is completely up to them. This also fits Gagne's 8th method, which is assessing performance. Like I said, at the end, the teacher is going to sit down and look at all the different projects and use the rubric to grade them. As long as they meet the needs, it just doesn't matter whichever way they present it. So by day 6, the students would have submitted their final projects. Since the start of the unit, a whole week has gone by. What the students are going to do is they're going to kind of follow up on their current events. So they're going to search for information on it and kind of see how the current event affected the world or region or country at this point. This goes along with Gagne's 9th phase, which is kind of enhance the units, enhance retention. So just kind of pushing the units to check back on what they did their research on. I would like to go over some of the tools that we're going to use throughout the units. The first one here is a screenshot of the website newsela.com. As you can see, it has several articles. Each day it comes out with a few new articles, and they're in subcategories. So right here you can see there's a War and Peace, there's a science one. So the students can kind of pick a topic that interests them, and from there they can browse all the articles that took place within a week that it fits their subject that interests them. So through this, it's organized, and hopefully every student can find something that's really going to help them get through that first phase of inquiry-based learning, that whole, posing that real question for them to research. The next tool I want to show is the Too Long Don't Read extension. As you can see from this screenshot, As you can see in the background, there's this really long article. There's going to be a lot of big words part of it, and no fourth grader is going to want to sit there and kind of read through it. But when you use the extension, it pops up with a little sloth face guy with TLDR next to it, and it gives them a very short summary of what it's about. From here, they can read that and be, hey, is this even part of my current events, or should I keep searching for a new article? If they find that it is, it gives them options that they can find a short passage, a medium passage, or a long passage. So from there, they can just read the summary and pick out those key facts to go along with their current event, instead of reading this whole long article that is probably something more for high school or even college students. The last tool and resource the students are going to have at their disposal is the Media Center. There's going to be 2 different media specialists that are going to be there ready to assist students within their research. Before this even starts, they've been pulling and holding different current event articles that the students are ready. So anything that they find in the newspaper or from a Times for Kids or something else that has a lot of current event articles, they're going to hold on to. So when students come in and tell them their subject and their current event, the 2 media specialists can kind of help guide them to find more articles that fit their current event. As the students work through their units, they're going to work on their inquiry-based Phase 3, which is take their information and put it together, and then move on to 4, which is presenting the information. When they're doing this, they're not just going to be told that, oh, hey, take this information you found, come up with some things from it and then present it. No, they're going to be given a rubric, and this is what they're going to be evaluated on. They're going to be evaluated on the summary of their current event article. What are the main important facts about it. Then from there, they need to also summarize the other sources they found. Compare and contrast the sources they found with the current event, kind of one to make sure they are on the same topic, and what's similar about them, what's different. Hopefully after they go through their current events and their other resources, they can kind of come up with how they think the region, country, or world is going to be affected by the current event. From there, they're going to choose their presentation. Again, whether it could be Google Slides, a poster, model, a movie, it's really up to them. As long as the presentation is engaging, fun, creative, and you can really tell the students put the effort into it, they'll get their points for the presentation. So before they make their presentation, they're going to get a rubric that has all these subcategories on it, and specifically tell them what they need to do in order to earn all their points in each of these subcategories. After the unit's all over, it's important for the teacher to kind of go back and reflect on the unit itself. What went well? What needs to be changed for the next year? Does it need to extend the time? Is 6 days really going to be enough for the students to do all this? How can the lesson be improved? Other than using newsela.com, is there another site that kind of is more similar to it? Maybe that'll help out. Did the students enjoy the lesson? That's always an important one, because whenever the students enjoy something, they put more effort into it. And again, using the inquiry-based method, hopefully they really find something that interests them and they pose that question that really motivates them to dig deep and find information on it. All this is going to be taken into reflection at the end of the units, and hopefully the teacher can improve on it and make it better for the next following years. This brings us to the end of our unit plan. Hopefully when we go back and look at our learning objectives, the students can go ahead and complete those learning objectives. They can summarize the text and as well as compare and contrast them. If they can do that, then the unit turns out to be a success. Again, hopefully through the reflection process, the teacher can continue to make this unit a success and improve on it within the next few years to come. Thank you.